Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're watching DualShockers TV on DualShockers.com. We're here with Square Enix, checking out some Thief with Joe. Joe, pleasure meeting you. We had a chance to sit down and see Thief, and I was joking around. You know, it's been a while since we've seen Thief. He's been hanging out. Just Garrett's. What's he been up to?
Garrett has been hanging out, pretty much. Yeah, he's been waiting for the right moment to reappear in the shadows. You see that? Yeah. Like reappear, but not.
I see what he did there.
Yeah, exactly.
So Garrett's back. It's been we were just discussing it. Last time he was around was 2004, so it's been a good eight years. Mostly almost 10 years. Oh yeah, almost 10 years. Man, holy shit. My mathematics is bad. So it's been a while. He made a little bit of a stint. He was mostly PC. Made a little bit of a stint on the original Xbox. Now he's making a big leap. So where's Garrett now?
Well, Garrett now, if you're talking about hardware, he's going to be on PC, most importantly, because that's the platform where the series originated. And definitely we're going to work hard on making sure that it feels right on both gamepad and keyboard and mouse if people want to play it the same way they played it in the first with the first games. But it's also coming on PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, not Xbox, and Xbox One.
So it's making the leap simultaneously for this gen, next gen. That's an interesting move. I mean, you guys went from kind of PC only to now let's open it up to everybody. Was that a conscientious effort of saying, hey, let's bring it out to everybody?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our goal is to reintroduce Thief to as many people who probably both have tried it and both have never tried it. People that know Garrett and people who are probably aware of a game called Thief, because a lot of stealth games in the past have always pointed to Thief as a good inspiration or reference point. So for us, I think introducing people to what it means to play Thief with today's technologies, today's innovations with lighting, today's how far we can go with AI and stuff like that, I think is where the timing was right to bring back Garrett and Thief.
Will Thief have Twitter? That's the important question that a lot of people are asking.
People will be able to tweet about Thief, and Thief already has a Twitter.
See, I told you, it's involved with everything. Yeah. But seriously,
you're asking Garrett.
Yeah,
Garrett, why would a shadow or a ghost want to be on Twitter? It's like checking into places.
Well, listen, he checks in. I stole somebody's chalice. This just happened. 10 followers.
The police have Twitter too, right? The guards have Twitter too. You can follow them.
So Garrett, obviously, he lives in the shadows. He's very much a stealth game. We were talking about, you're kind of high above the city. You don't want to be that guy who's getting in front of people, that's kind of pissing off guards, or being that guy that plays Call of Duty. This is very much a stealth game at its core.
Yeah, that was important. I guess if you were to ask someone what is their remembrance of what Thief used to be, it's the essence of stealth. It's what we wanted to bring back. It is what really... What is the environment telling you? How is the environment telling you to move about? What is the feedback that we're giving you to the player? And one of them is what you mentioned, is not necessarily steering a lot of action and not necessarily getting the spotlight and meddling with people when you don't need to. When your goal is that loot or that piece of information that you want to collect, you want to do that. The best thieves in the world are the guys that are in or out, and you never knew you were missing anything. Right? That's why I'm always like...
Check your wallet right now.
I would have gone home and I would have never noticed anything was missing.
So now Garrett, obviously, he's not your atypical hero. He's not that guy who's looking out there to save the damsel in distress. I guess let's set up the story a little bit for those people watching. What is Garrett's intentions, aside from being the master thief? Yeah.
Well, in this Garrett, basically, he's got a little bit more layers than the previous Garrett. He's still at his core about the heist, about the perfect piece of loot. But what is happening is, as he's reintroduced to the city, he's realizing that the city, there's a sickness that's spreading around called the gloom. There's a baron who believes that the evolution of the city only comes with the rich and not with the poor or the less favored. And the idea is that Garrett, through his contacts, which he doesn't have many, but he has a couple of people that he brings a little bit closer, because someone like Garrett usually tends to keep people away. But he does have a few contacts that really expose him to the fact that whatever's going on is not right. And there is one person who's probably more of that leader than Garrett would be, and that's Orion. Orion's that charismatic, confident speaker that comes in and says enough is enough. And Garrett being who he is, there's still some he can still influence some things by stealing some information in some areas. By, you know, for example, we give you know, in the E3 demo that we showed, we have a mission where Garrett you know, steals a prized family jewel to the Baron, where that will obviously affect his confidence, because now he's not that, you know, completely blocked off person, and he's as vulnerable as anybody else. So without necessarily being that superhero or that person that is in the spotlight, he still has the means to affect the direction this kind of struggle goes to. And that's, I think, where Garrett really steps in, where Garrett says, okay, you know what, I'm not going to be the point of the spear, but I can be, you know, an influence of some sort, while Orion is that charismatic and leader that, you know, leads the revolution.
Now, interesting, you know, again, 2004 has come and gone. There's been a lot of other stealth games out there. A lot of people are drawing inferences, saying this is kind of a first-person version of an Assassin's Creed. What do you think when people draw that conclusion? Is that, you know, is that kind of a fair assessment to say, or do you guys say, no, we're something totally different?
No, I mean, first of all, that would be a bold statement. They're great games. I mean, I'm a big fan of Assassin's Creed, big fan of Splinter Cell series, the Dishonored, and all these games. But I think our approach has always been, you know, Assassin's Creed, you can play it in a various way. You can play it with heavily, you know, it's called Assassin's Creed. You're an assassin. You're not a thief per se, but there are some stealth elements to the gameplay. For us, it's contrary to Assassins and games like that. It's not about mingling with the crowd. It's not about blending in. It's about being a shadow. It's about staying away from it. So for us, definitely, there's a lot of great titles, a lot of influences references that we can look at. But at our base, the most important reference has been the First Thieves. How did the First Thieves feel? They didn't feel like you were trying to blend in with the guards and the people. You were trying to stay away. So I think going back to your original question about stealth, you know, and coming back to the roots of stealth, is where we really wanted to push this thief the most.
And I think you guys did a pretty phenomenal job with that. You know, I want to talk a little bit about the meters in the corner, and you can really tell when you're in the light, when you're in the dark. It's pretty blatant for, you know, for the player to know, yeah, okay, I'm stealth, I'm not. And then there's also powers that you mentioned as his focus, where he can actually see some things that are going on.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. You know, and it's not just about the light and shadow. It's about Garrett's presence. So you see his hands, you see his feet, you see his body, you see where his presence ends. So you know for a fact if you're in the light or in the dark. It's not about guessing, you know, and also with the fact that you're looking at the screen, you know, the effects around it, the meter if you need to. But there's a lot of feedback that we're giving to the player. You know, obviously is how people are reacting to him. If they can't see him, then they don't react to him. And all that is really important in the sense that you can find clearly how to navigate around a space without being detected. Focus is something that Garrett, he basically inherits it in the beginning of the game. He goes through an accident and he gets these mystical powers that allows him, if he wants to again, it's optional. If you decide to activate it, you will be able to see items of interest. You'll be able to detect the guard's presence behind walls by seeing a visual representation of the audible footsteps. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to see where they are with respect to a closed room. Excuse me. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you decide not to use it, being, you know, listening into the audio cues, the shadows and what's going on, you'll get that feedback anyway. But in general, it's about really the levels and the level art and the lighting and all that stuff to complement the kind of mechanics that we're trying to show.
Excellent. I guess out of curiosity, how open world, or is there one set way to play through a certain level, or how open have you guys decided to make Thief?
Well, you know, to express a good story, there are some missions that are, I guess, more linear than open world, in order for us to develop the characters and explain what's going on and give the game context. But at the same time, at the end of every mission, you come back to the city, and that opens up more and more and more the further along you are in the game. So basically, you start up with a sector called, let's say, Stone Market, which is the area that we play today. It's more of a commercial area with more taverns, shops, and merchants and stuff like that. But if you were to come back, let's say 3-4 hours down the road, you might have more residential area open. You might have more other areas, other sectors of the cities that are open for you to explore, and you're free to basically come in, explore, spend as much time as you want, or move on to the next mission, you know, which, you know, involves talking to a character and then going on to another part of the city, and then come back again. So it's basically it's developed for you to play on your rhythm. If you're the kind of person that basically likes to explore and loot everything and discover everything, then the city is kind of where you'll spend a lot of your time, and the story will be how you discover the characters.
And you get to show that off in that central hub where
Yeah.
he kind of Garrett hangs out,
Yeah.
where he has his, let's say, trophies of loot.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if you go back to the clock tower, Garrett's home, there's definitely some spots where you can track Garrett's progress and how he's looting, what's missing for you to complete the collection, you know, and that can be anything from paintings to jewelry to rings and watches, a whole bunch of stuff. And that basically, we've got it laid out so that all the items that are worth something to Garrett are placed in these loot boxes, and if there's any missing, you'll be able to know which one. So if you're missing, like in a case box of, let's say, rings, you'll be missing one ring, you'll see that it's missing based on its placement on the loot box, and then you'll be encouraged to go find it. I mean,
That one person that's got to catch them all is going to
Exactly.
be like, what's going on?
where is that pin, that painting? And then they'll go out and look for it.
Excellent. So, I mean, Thief is looking really good. I mean, any last words to the viewers out there to kind of really get them hooked on to the Thief franchise and the reimagining?
Yeah, I mean, if they've missed Garrett as much as we have, we hope they're excited as we are to release the game, as they are to play it on February 25th.
Excellent, Joe. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hey, guys, Thief is back. 8 years, not 8 years. I keep saying 8. It's 10 years. Time's flying, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time. Garrett's back. Thief is back. Keep your eyes open. We're out.